Welcome to Empowered Pinay Beyond Borders. This podcast is to celebrate the greatness of Filipinas who are trailblazing abroad. And not only Filipinas, you can also be from Europe or UK or from Africa for as long as you are raising your own flag. And I'm Ria.
I'm Marinka, and
Yeah,
today
and today,
we have a very special guest. Um, she is a trailblazer in the energy industry and a proud Filipina. And I'm proud to say that she's a good friend way back. I've known Glasil since 2005, though we haven't seen each other in ages, and we haven't got a chance to really talk in a regular basis. But we see our life updates through Facebook, and that's the beauty of social media, right? So even if you don't see each other, you still feel connected. And then, couple of weeks back, I reached out to Glasil, reconnected with Glasil, and invited her to guest in our podcast. And without hesitation, she said yes. Um, and I was actually kind of shy to ask her because I know she's busy. She's a very successful career woman, loving wife, and mother. Um, so Glacial, again, thank you so much for saying yes to this. I know you're super busy, but I really appreciate it. And just for our audience and listeners, just a quick backstory of how I met Glacial. So that was back in 2005. So we were actually colleagues and teammates in Shell. And I have one story, and I mentioned this to you the other day, that I will never forget about Glasil. So we were just new in Shell. I can't remember exactly, 3 months or not even like 6 months, right? So we were in the probationary period of our employment. And one night I was in pain, and she was the one who sent me to the hospital. So we walked from the Shell office, like the RCBC tower, to Makati Med. So yeah, I will never forget that. And of course, all the happy and fun memories, especially after work. Those memories I will forever cherish, um, with Glasil and the rest of the Shell friends. So hopefully one day we will have a get together or a reunion, right, with other Shell friends. And yeah, nakakamiss talaga the old days. So again, thank you, Glasil, and welcome to our podcast. We are very thrilled to have you here. So, how are you? Kumusta ka? How is the family?
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Inka, for inviting me. Actually, when you invited me, I was like, oh, totoo ba to? Kasi I'm not like sure if I fit the qualifications that you have,
Of
guys,
course you
no? But
are. Yeah.
when you said what the purpose is for, I'm always like supporting women, even at work. So sometimes
Mhm.
we like women empowered as well sessions. And when you said that that was the intention of this, I couldn't
Mhm.
say no, even if I don't know if how valuable my insights would be today. But
Yeah.
I thought that it's a purpose and a cause that I also believed in. So might as well try and help out a friend.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Glasil.
so
So
that's so
really,
perfect. Ang sweet naman. Sana
yeah.
minsan makagat din ako ng lamok tas dalhin ako ni Glasil sa Medical City. 'Di ba? Pero malayong mangyari 'yan ngayon. Maybe someday. So anyway, thanks for
Mhm.
that very sweet recollection of your friendship with Glasil. But let's dive in. I think the audience is very excited to know how did you land a career in the energy, which actually is a male-dominated field, and how did you land that job at this Fortune 500 Shell?
Mhm.
Well, actually, I joined Shell a few months after I graduated from the university. So I graduated from UP Los Baños with a degree in agribusiness management. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like a broad field. So some of my batchmates are now into sales, into we can go to economics, we can go do agriculture business. I also have a friend who's an FA. So we can do like anything actually. But
Mhm.
my motivation at that time was I just wanted to have a job because I felt like it's time for me to earn my own money and support myself. Because I believe, like as a parent now, I believe that our duty and my parents' duty is to help me be equipped to face life, right? And then after education, you should be able to carry on. So at that time, I was actually just like looking to have a stable job that can support me so that I can live on my own and then maybe in a way help my parents. I have a few applications then, if I can remember correctly, but I thought that the one that was offered by Shell was what was a good fit at that time. I still remember the person who interviewed me. She was the head of accounts payable then. She's an expat from Houston. She's
Yep.
not with the company anymore, but from time to time, we still say hi to each other through social media. Very
Oh,
fortunate that she thought I fit that role as well.
oh, and it's inspiring to hear that story, Lasil. It flashback also when I started with Shell. But as Ria mentioned, working in Shell, it's a male-dominated, right, company. And for sure, you have encountered some challenges, right? So can you share some of those challenges that you face while working in this industry?
Yeah, well, in Shell Manila, it's not so much that it's more male
Mhm.
dominated, right? But one of
Yeah.
the early challenges that I can think of was that I just lack the competency. And
Yep.
rightly so, because that was my first job, right? So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't have. I think in our batch, I'm the only one who don't have any work experience at all. And at that
Mm-hmm.
time, I think I'm one of the first few hires of Shell that is not of accounting background because we're mainly our finance operations company at that time. So we do trainings, and at the end of each week, if you remember, we do assessments. I'm
Yes.
always at the bottom of those assessments, right? And I think that's my first taste of like if you want something, you have to work for it. So I thought I need to be regularized. I need this work. So after each of the session, I think I stayed for a few hours just to understand really, the training and that I can answer the assessments at the end of each week. I think that's one of the earliest challenges that I had. And then the second one is because this is a global company,
Mm-hmm.
I think as Philippines as a country, as an English speaking country, is very lucky because we have that
Mm-hmm.
advantage right away, right? But through the years, you would see it's beyond the language. Sometimes it's culture deep as well. So we have people. I've worked with people from the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
Europe, even Asia. I think um, the challenge would be that one thing can mean different from each of them depending on what lens they're looking at it. But I've learned as well that the key to that is do not assume anything. Like if you're not clear, ask questions. If you want to be understood as well and make sure you're clear, you have to reconfirm that what you're saying is being understood by everyone. I think the biggest thing as well is that Westerners, they're very much upfront, direct, which to be honest, I like because sometimes Asians, especially Filipinos, there's feelings involved sometimes, right? Like, will they like it? Will it be perceived in a different way or in a negative way? Sometimes it's much harder to navigate that. So that's still the balance that I'm still finding until now.
Yeah, I totally agree with those things that you mentioned.
True.
Yeah. So right now you're in Australia, right? We
Yeah.
this
Yeah. I,
mentioned.
I have a question. I just got so immersed with how you
Yeah.
said it. It's also like giving me a lot of flashback when it comes to multinational. I have my own story, but of course, we're very interested to get to know Glasil, further. And with that said, you're working in Australia. How has it differed from working in the Philippines? I mean, within the energy shell industries. What are the top two that you have in mind that is so different working in that region, Australia?
I've worked with Australian before, like maybe 10 years ago. But this is the first time that I'm actually in country, so I experience them on a daily basis, right? One of the things that I really notice is that Filipinos are more competitive. Like there are times where I felt like I was stressing myself so that I can deliver, right away, but they're more like chill.
Oh.
They also have a very like here in Australia particularly, even my counterparts in the US would agree with me when I say Australians are really big on work-life balance. And that's one of the things that I had to learn when I got here. Here the malls are closed at 5 because those people the reasoning for that is that they also have family that they need to have dinners with, right? Sometimes in
That's
Manila,
not for us. That's not
that's
for us.
not for us, right?
5 o'clock close.
Yeah, and in Manila as well, it's not like that. People are like always like hammering, working. Here, I had learned to like really slow down. But Australians are also like efficient. Like they wouldn't want any like steps or added work that won't add value. So like, why are we going to do this if we can do this in these 2 steps rather than 3, so that we can go home right away? So I guess that's one of the biggest thing. Like they're efficient and they're very much on big on work-life balance, which I really, really like.
Oh, wow. It's good to know,
Do
right?
you want to go to Australia?
Yeah, let's go to Australia. Yeah, I know that, yeah, it's like a laid back because there's a lot of surfers, right? In Australia. It's just like in Hawaii. But yeah, good to know. But yeah, closing mall at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Because in Manila it's like 10 p.m., almost 12, midnight still open, and just a lot of things going on at night. But yeah, I that work-life balance, it's really good, right? But anyway, Glycil, since 2005, Shell, and you're still with Shell,
Mhm.
right? Almost what, 20 years?
May ganun
Almost.
tanda. 18, in turning 19, yeah, but it's a long time. It's
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what advice do you have for other Filipinas, like looking for, to advance their career, particularly in this industry?
I think my advice, and this is to any industry,
Yeah. Mhm.
really, is that you have to put in the work. So you have to be self-aware. What do you have? What are your strong suits? What are the things that you want to work on? Because if you're not self-aware, it would be easy for you to like be drawn to whatever, and then at the end of the day, you actually really don't have anything because you have not really devoted time to it. So my advice is just really be self-aware. What is it
Mhm.
that you wanted? What is it that you have already that you can use to your advantage? And what is it that you wanted to work on? I also think that it's very important that you always go back to your personal motivations and values. In this life, you will be presented with so many different options, right? But what is it that's important to you, or what is it that's going to work for you at that particular time in your life? Looking back, I have worked so hard for so many, many years. Like I'm just drawn to like the work that I'm doing. I forgot that we need to have kids, you know? So I think it was about maybe 7 years into our marriage before we sat down and said maybe we can try to have kids, because we actually didn't feel like we're missing on something because we're busy with work, but we also wanted to to complete the family, and that took us that amount of time to realize, we cannot do this all at the same time. Like I cannot have everything at the same time. So at that point, I had to choose like lighter workloads, maybe not newer projects, so that I can spend time in focusing in that. And then when I was a new mom, I also am like selective with some of the initiatives that I'm doing, because I have this new role that I'm doing, which I'm not sure what I'm doing actually, but I had to spend time and real, make sure that my son is okay, is taken care of. And now, this role actually requires me to be away from them. So they're in Manila, and I'm here in Australia. That takes a lot of like courage and decision. But I was thinking that was the best thing that I can do at this time, so that I can invest in myself after I've devoted time with being a mother, a new mother. Now I really need this for myself. I really need to do this role to upskill myself, and hence you make some decisions and sacrifices at that. So those choices are very important, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say earlier. When you do something, or you decide on something, you have to make sure that's really what motivates you, and that's really what you wanted to do, because it's not just my time that's being sacrificed, even my husband and my son, right? And then you decide as a family, and then what do you do after that? I guess you
Mhm.
have to be guided whenever you make those choices, so that in the end you don't have any regrets. But to everyone, my advice is to try to put in the work and assess what you can do at a given time, so that you can get the maximum potential return for your investment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
I
it's a
love
very
you,
good advice.
Glacil. I love
Yes.
it. Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know, but I think whatever you're saying right now fits my current situation too. And you just
Mm.
nailed it. Yeah, you just nailed it. That's my opinion. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Inka.
sometimes as young professionals, right, you tend to like I want everything, I want this,
Yeah.
I want that. But at some point, you will reach the point of burnout. Eh? So you have to be
Mm,
guided accordingly as to what are the things that
mm.
you really wanted to do in a long term, and then are you going to do something that's really just going to be for a short term? Will it be
That's
worth
true.
it, right? So
Yeah.
I guess that should be like one of the things when you try to do something or try to decide on something. Look back at your values and your principles. Is it aligned? And then you will never go wrong for sure.
Totally agree
Perfect.
with that. I think especially at our age right now. I mean, I will not going to say what's our age, but and it also comes with the maturity, right? I was telling you when I reached out to you, like I've never thought that I'll be doing this podcast, but I felt like I found my purpose. I've been working also for years and years. Even, I was a working student back in college, and I've been feel like working my whole life. But I also reached that point of my life that okay, I I want something else, right? And I found Ria, and we brainstormed, and we and Empowered Pinay happened. And I told you, yes, I've never thought I'll be doing podcasts. I'm not that kind of person who will talk in front of the camera like this. But yeah, found my purpose. And that was a very good advice, let's say. Yeah, I totally agree with Ree. You nailed it, right? So, Ree, do you have questions for Glacial?
If it's a Miss Universe pageant, you
Yes.
just got my heart
Yes.
because yeah, I'm actually thinking right now. I know our brains work. I can see Glacil in me, and I
Mhm.
can see Inca. That's why I immediately and with my partner Rem here, who's like more of the technical
Mhm.
leadership in our team. I see that the three of us are probably cut from the same cloth, right? And right now I'm thinking, why don't we have a part two with Glacil? Because
Yeah.
when she was talking about the purpose of life, the motivation, don't just get all the 10 options that is presented to you. It has a part two, right? I am already like thinking of if you are down for it, Glacil, like a part two of a topic that would touch about the years of navigating this life journey, and probably we can think about 5 to 7 questions where the audience can totally relate, because to me, I've worked with a lot of successful women, men, CFO, CIO. I mean, that's the type of meetings that I have every day. But the way you said it, it's like, oh, I was also enabled by you at this moment, right? I can say that I'm so bright, and we belong to the Oracle software expertise world, but yours is just very, what you call that, basic to. And I know if there's anyone in my family or relatives or friends listening to this podcast, this is very important. This will move you. What Glasil really told us is something that
Yep.
is so, that moment, you have to hear those words at this moment. So
Mhm.
tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning, you'll have a path. And that is from the Glasil language, right? Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Totally
Yeah.
agree. Totally agree. Okay. So for sure you have a lot of memories, right? Um, and achievements from your time working at
Yeah.
Shell. Can you share
Mhm.
some?
Oh, really a lot, to be honest. I think I can start with
I bet.
people. Um, the people that I work with, some of them are not Filipinos, and most of them are not Filipinos, but some have left the company, and even now, they are my dearest and closest friends. So I form relationship with the people that I met from work that are really deep, like they will be lifelong friends. Like Inka has mentioned, we haven't really connected in so many years, but when she reached out, or when you text someone, it's just like we were talking yesterday, because
Exactly. Yeah.
uh, those are like my formative years. Those are the first few few times that I have been out of, school. It was really the time that I was out in the world. So I was looking at my batchmates then, and our other friends as a guide. So I did my first many things with
Mhm.
these people. So now we have kids, and we still
Mhm.
have those relationship. Some of my friends are not Filipinos, as I mentioned, and I really enjoy that part, because now I see the other side of their culture, because our relationships are beyond work, right? So I
Mhm.
have friends who are from South Africa, who are from Europe, and every time we talk to each other, it seems like we just are in Boracay yesterday. So
Yeah.
nice. Also, the words that I'm saying, I've learned this from the years of experience that I have, and some of this have been imparted by good mentors in the company. So I've had good mentors who, even if they're not in Shell now, we still connect, and I still get valuable advice from them whenever I'm faced with career choice or a dilemma at work. So I have met so many good people in Shell. And the other thing is I get to travel for work.
Mhm.
Not right away, like maybe 5, 6 years into my career. That's the time that I get to travel. But Shell has sent me, for example, to Malaysia to attend a Shell event, which is a different setting. So
Mhm.
that was very refreshing to see, the impact that we have with young students, for example. I go to be sent for training. I was able to visit our headquarters in The Hague. I went
Mhm.
to for migration work. At one point, I was in India because I handle a team that's based in Chennai.
Mhm.
And the company allowed for me to meet them face to face. And then now I'm spending a year in Australia to upskill myself. So the company has given me wonderful
Mhm.
people and amazing experience, really. So that I will be always and thankful for life, for sure.
Yeah. Wow. It's the travel, the education. I want to
Yep.
ask you, so what's your next stop? Where is your next stop? If I ask you, if Shell is no object, I mean, if what is your bucket list? Where do you want to go
Mhm.
next?
Oh, well, not working. I wanted to like go traveling, but that is also possible because Shell compensates, right? I mean, I'm working so that I can give my family a comfortable life, but that's also for me to enjoy life itself, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
My motto is that if you um, do something for work, might as well do it with all your best, so that when the performance ranking comes and your bonus comes in, it's also like a good amount that you can enjoy yourself with, right? I think
True.
very important that you have that balance, like work hard, but you know, spend harder or like work harder. Like it's a balance. If not, you will be burned out. That's what I'm always thinking. So if you do something, if you work hard, I always say that make sure that you try to do something nice for you and your family afterwards. So you can go back, recharge to working
Yeah.
Yeah.
again.
Have your mini retreat, your mini retirement for 1 week and then go back full like a baby.
Yeah, yeah,
Mini
yeah.
retirement for 1 week should be at least 3 weeks.
Mini retirement or 1 month.
One month.
Whatever makes sense to the company or to your boss or to your
Yeah.
role.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
go Inka if you have anything, any
yeah.
question.
Yeah, while I was listening to your story, I just like in awe and honestly, I'm very, very proud of you. Glacial, again, we started back in 2005, right? And here you are, right? A very successful career woman, and you have experienced all those travels, meeting other people from different countries, right? You really immerse, right, from the company, and I'm just so proud, right? I'm just so proud and happy for you. And again, you mentioned earlier you've been to different countries, you work with different colleagues from, different regions. So how do you navigate, the cultural differences?
For me, really, I maybe because I've been with this multinational company all my
Mm-hmm.
life, my working
Mm-hmm.
life. I've never really looked at people based on from where they are,
Mm-hmm.
from like what is their background. Of course, for sure, we have ways and traditions that we do because we're born from a particular country, right? But at the end of the day, I believe that each human being just requires simple things, which is trust. They want it
Mm-hmm.
to be listened to, and they want it to be appreciated. So at work, that's what I actually apply with. So when we work on something, right, the goal is already there. We have one common goal to achieve at work.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that will matter is that do we do our work respectfully of each other? Whether it's your time, my time, whether it's listening to your idea or my idea, and after that, appreciating each other. I remember last time, maybe a couple of months ago, I went to the field, and here in Australia, I support the wells business of Shell, which is mostly with the engineers. And even here, engineering is mainly dominated by male. So I went to the field with two male engineers, colleagues of mine, and then the supplier came over, and they have sent two male engineers as well. So in the field, it was very evident that this one guy was actually excluding me from the discussion, and he was focusing with the
Mm-hmm.
engineer that I'm with. And Shell, we've spent so much time with promoting diversity and inclusion, and I benefited for that because this engineer that I'm working with, whenever the topic is something that's off my expertise, like in my area, he would always direct this guy back to me. Like he would say, "Oh, Glacial will be the one to look at that. Glacial will be the one to tell us what's the next step." So he's
Mm-hmm.
always like including me in the discussion. But this guy is a bit difficult. He's always like turning his back. Maybe he's thinking he should be convincing the other engineer. So during lunchtime, when we were like sitting down and we were talking about our background, how long we have been in the company, he was very surprised to know that I'm not a newbie. He was
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I'm like a new joiner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why he was excluding me. I mean, not being just a female, but I'm also like petite, right? Compared to like Filipinas are really petite compared to our counterparts, especially the Western men.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
and our Asian genes, for some reasons, make us look younger than we really are, right?
That
So
is
that has
true.
given me a good point in terms of like, when it's virtual, it's easier for me to establish my post or my
Your
position
present.
because
Mhm.
you they don't see you standing up, and then when you're talking, you get the airtime, right? But if it's in person, it's much difficult because they can have the
Mm,
bias of, oh, this is a young person, this is newbie in the company, might not be one of the decision makers in that. So that
mm,
has given me some good pointers that maybe next time I'll establish right away what's the role that I'm playing in that discussion. So they won't have that misconception of why I'm there. Um, yeah, but I guess that's also one of the things that I do. I try to like study the people that I'm gonna meet with. I think aside from the basic or courtesy that you have to extend to each of the people, you also have to know your own craft, why
mm.
you're there, and what you're bringing into the discussion. I think that's very important. Whatever the nationalities or countries you're working with, that's one of the fundamental things.
Yeah, I think
Agree.
I got one key takeaway there. And Rem probably know this in Inca. You mentioned the credentials. The credentialization is very important when you host a meeting, and I've learned it like for decades, and I've been applying it and enabling, sellers and teams as well. Because I'm also petite. I'm smaller when you compare me and bring me to Australia or to US, to other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And they always see me as a bubbly, like an advertising kind of girl. So when I worked for Microsoft, Microsoft actually let me flew to Atlanta to talk to 2,000 actually C-level. And one of the guys, I would just want to share this because we're talking about the being petite and young
Mm.
looking, like we were college, we were like, are you like 19, 22 years old, especially when you're just wearing a white shirt and a white sneakers, right, Inka?
Yep.
Glacier,
Yep.
right? And you don't have any makeup because it's morning. I have brunch with the SVPs. And then all of a sudden, when they saw me stand up, because somebody was saying, oh, somebody from, Microsoft will talk about Dynamics, Cloud ERP, CRM that time. And then they saw me walking to the stage. And then I heard some of the guys say, oh, I thought that she's just a sales, sales advertising, girl. And yeah, and then the history, it's like you repeat that kind of history when you are we're not physically challenged, right? We are
No.
just Asian, the typical Asian girl who looks like a college graduate who just walk in the conference full of full of robust and bigger
Yeah.
physique.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So
A physically challenged trait actually. I was with maybe a few Australian men, and they're like really tall legs, long legs. We were walking in the field, and I'm like almost running just to catch up because short legs. But yeah,
Yeah.
just like me, yeah, and Inca and
Yeah,
Rem.
I experienced that as well. Um, I was, I think, on site, and I was the only lady. The rest of the team members were all men, and we went to a restaurant. And on our way back to the cars, like everyone was like walking, and I was already like way behind. And I told them, "Can you please slow down? I can't catch up. I have short legs."
yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, I have the
the
same
short leg
experience.
syndrome. Yeah, happened to all of us.
yeah.
But yeah, we're small but terrible.
Terrible. A
Small
lot
but
of
terrible.
people can relate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So anyway, you mentioned earlier, when we ask you what's your plan and you wanna go on vacation, but in terms of your future career goals and aspirations, so how do you plan to continue empowering yourself and other Filipina, other women?
Well, I really just hope to do something that gives me the opportunity to use my skills, and at the same time, something that will provide me new learning, something that will excite me, to be
Mm,
honest, so that it's not going to be boring. So I wanted to like contribute, but at the same time,
mm,
when I do a role, I want that role to add to whatever I have. So like that role should be adding to my skills as well.
mm,
Um, I have been leading teams since maybe 2011, right?
mm,
It's not ECS, and I'm not the most friendly team manager out there. I've heard it so many times, but I have team members who have been promoted or who have transferred to a different company where the grass is greener for them at that point. And some of them will write to me or will tell me, thank you so much for helping me or for training me. You've added to my success, blah blah blah. I really feel that that's what I wanted. Like that really gives me a fulfilling feeling. um, that makes me feel like the efforts that you, because if you're managing people, you give time to them, right? Like you devote
Yeah.
time to make sure that you also help them or nurture them. That validates the time that I'm investing in them. And for me to be just appreciated in that way is the best. I mean, I haven't done anything, I'm sure it's all their work, right? But just them saying that they're grateful, that they've learned something from me is, I think, one of the like more rewarding thing that I have been doing at work. So I also like continue doing that.
Oh,
I love it.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And you're a
inspiring.
natural. You're a
Yeah.
natural doing that, no, Inka? I think
Yeah.
your how do I put this into words? You're meant to be a boss. Your physical and your behavioral, now that I'm seeing you, online. I hope to meet you in person and
Yeah.
have meals with you and drink with you. But I think my assessment is you're meant to be a boss. The way you organize your thought, Glacial, is really very boss like, right? You're very organized when you frame your thought,
Mhm.
right, Inka? It is very, some people when they talk, like the communication is just blurred. You really don't know where the person is going at, but yours is just organized.
Yeah,
And
that
it actually, like, it's very organized. So I love it. I don't know with Inka, but let me follow up your statement with a question.
Mhm.
So to you, in probably one word, what is success to Glasil?
oh wow. But
Big
I don't
words,
I
right?
don't have I don't have one word, but maybe
Oh, maybe three
I'll,
words, five
I'll
words. Yeah.
describe it. For me, success is a feeling
Mm.
of being happy and being content of the outcome that you set yourself to achieve. So I think that's it. It's not.
Oh, it's a feeling. It's your own feeling, right? Not everybody's feeling, but it's
Yeah,
the Glasil feeling.
Yeah.
yeah. So like for me, people would have to have their own definition of success, because what motivates you might be not motivating for me. What your goal now is not my goal, right? So don't let anyone define what success is for you. You have to be the one defining it. So when you get it, you really truly really believe that you indeed succeed. Because if it's defined by someone else, it will never be enough. Like it will never have an end. So for me, the success is when I feel like happy and content with what I have achieved, I think.
Oh,
I love
lovely. I
Miss
love
Universe.
that. Lovely quote. Not found in the 35,000 quotes of Google, quotes and sayings. It should be a Glasil page. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
first time that I've ever heard that. You
Yeah.
don't look at the quote, you don't look at other slogan of success, right? Like hustle girl, empowered girl, like that, or I'm making so much money, whatever, in my bank account kind of girl. But it's
Yep.
really a feeling of yourself. And you
Yeah.
said it won't end if you keep on looking at the other definition of success and it's not really your success, then you will probably chase until you, so it's not for you.
Yeah.
That,
True.
yeah.
I totally agree with that. It's, everyone has their own definition of success, for
Yeah, like
sure.
for me, success is not eating sweets.
Not eating sweets
That's
anymore.
success. But
Yeah.
but you see, I'm eating
So
my
you
banana
failed.
pudding.
You failed now, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
also the beauty of it. When you define it, it can be like a long-term definition, and it can be like, for the time, my definition of success is that I will not comment on other people, right? To myself, for example. Right, right? So, but then and okay, I'm successful for today. I've gained heaven points, like langit points.
Heaven points, you'll go to heaven.
Kukunin ka ni Lord ng maaga, ganon. Parang, ito yung
Yes.
araw na kukunin ako ni Lord.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so
Just,
funny.
yeah, flashback talaga. Kasi Glaciel, I totally agree with you, Ari. She is very organized and she speaks her mind. That's one thing I remember about Glaciel. She will speak her mind. And yes, you're not born as a boss, but for me, you're born as a leader. You're a leader. And I agree and commend you when you mentioned about, someone will write to you, thanking you that you inspire them, you help them. And I agree that it's rewarding. It's a fulfillment. It's a fulfilling feeling because same thing with me. I experienced that, and someone will like, thank you so much, Miss Inka, for helping me. And there was one time someone told me, the other reason why I'm still with the company is because of you, because you're good, manager, blah blah. It's a totally different feeling, it's very rewarding. And again, kudos to you, and I'm just proud. I'm just proud of you. uh Man, those years where we're talking about all those happy memories, like after work in the morning we get wasted, but look at you, right? Look
Oh,
at
yeah.
you. But those are, back in the days when we were young. But I'm just proud. I'm just proud just hearing
Yeah,
you talk. And again, you're a leader. That's for sure. And
yeah.
just
Even
just
me, I'm
continue
I'm
that
not a
path.
friend of
Right?
Glasil, but now, I can understand why the universe brought you here. Even
Yeah.
Rem actually just texted me with a heart saying
Oh,
that
Yeah,
I'm so
exactly.
proud.
Like,
Yeah, I'm so proud. She doesn't really talk so much, but she has high standards as well as Rem because we know
mhm.
her so much. And when she says that she likes the brains and the intelligence, she's so proud of you, Placille. So,
Yeah.
bring this positive energy. These three girls who are looking at you now and saying that we are, so that your days will be so
Mhm.
blessed
Yep.
always. Whenever you feel down, because even the brightest and the most brilliant, super women cry, and we feel sometimes that why are you here for, right? What is the meaning of all this? And you're tired and
Yeah.
exhausted, but just
Mhm.
remember these three faces who are rooting for you. And until we reach the age of 60, 70, whatever, the golden girls, we might have a golden girls
Golden
podcast
girls.
again, right? And talk about what's the meaning of life now that we're
Yeah.
60, 70. So
Yeah.
probably one last question is uh my last question probably before we end is, so what do you do when you're not working?
That's a
Oh,
good question.
well, I used to be more interesting than I am now. But well, before I'm not into sports. I watch sports, but I don't play myself. I'm into fashion. Like, I'm not fashionista, but I shop a lot, which now I don't. I try to read if I can. If I'm like really feeling lazy, I watch Netflix. One
Mm.
show that I really enjoy are those documentaries now. So I watch a lot of about the climate change, for example, or like the
Mhm.
food, like how we process our food, and yeah. So it's weird stuff now, like pang lola stuff, because
Pang lola stuff.
but mainly I'm busy like just understanding how can I raise my kid. I have a boy, he's 5 years old, very inquisitive. So sometimes I need to be ready as to, baka ito yung tanong niya next time. So I wanted to be ready. So I read a lot about those kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Oh.
very very interesting.
Got it from her mom.
Climate change is interesting. Yeah. I mean, from your industry and studying all this, and I believe your son, your boy, 5 years old, will definitely copy his model, and the model will always be right, whoever he sees every day, the parents.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Inka, is there anything you want to say?
Gosh, I hope we have more time to talk, but I agree with Ree. We should have a part two of this because I learned a lot. Again, we've known each other since 2005, but we haven't got the chance to like really, speak in a regular basis. But when I messaged you, actually, you asked me like, do I fit in? I said, of course you are. You are very
You're a
successful. And when
winner.
I
You
was
don't fit
thinking,
in.
like,
You're the
of
winner.
course, right? Because when I was thinking, who should I invite? And you were the first one in mind. Like, I should invite Glasil.
Perfect
And
choice,
I
Inka.
messaged you.
Yeah.
And she was like asking me, I'm fit in? I fit in? Of course you are. um, but yeah, I hope we have more time to talk. But I think that's all we have for today's episode, right, Ree? But yeah, your journey, your story, Glacial, was, it's very inspiring. So I hope our audience, our listener were inspired like we did, right? Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for your time, for lending your precious time with us. And again, I am truly proud of you, from 2005 to now. Just amazing. I'm just in awe of what you are now. For sure, you're not just a successful career woman, but loving wife and a mom to Pio. So hopefully next year we can get together, reunion with Isa, with everyone else. I'm getting emotional. Kasi ang dami kasing happy memories. There's a lot of happy memories with them. As in, we traveled one time. I don't
Yeah.
travel a lot with them because,
Ang mga mama, mga
breadwinner.
allowance, so for the family ni Inka.
But I think there was one travel. It was that in Bohol, Cebu, right?
Yeah, I think Puerto Galera.
Or
If I'm
Puerto
not.
Galera, somewhere. But anyways, just a lot of happy memories. So again, thank you, Glacial, for sharing your journey and insights with us. We learned a lot. Those are a lot of quotable quotes from you. Like Rhea said, pang Miss Universe. But yeah, so it's been a pleasure having you here in our podcast. So yeah,
No,
hopefully
thank
we'll
you
have
for
part
having
two.
me.
Yeah. So my takeaway from Glasil is, again, thank you so much, Glasil. I know you're busy and probably you won't accept our part two, but please accept part two. We'll just look at the calendar and just adjust. But you're the epitome of, for us, that person, that woman from the Philippines, raise your flag, who is, it's like no dream is too big for a
Mhm.
rising star. And as we said, success is rented every day, right? That's you. You keep on learning and navigating cultural differences, pakikisama, napakahalaga. Sa ilang taon na you are with a multinational as big as this brand,
Mhm.
right? Yung pakikisama, yung ugali mo, and how you really look at life, and the way you wake up every morning, yung attitude.
Yeah.
So, sama-sama lahat yan. So, keep rising and keep crushing that goal for us, Pilipinas, para maging maganda talaga ang pagtingin nila sa Pilipina.
Yep.
Right? So, until the next episode, so everybody, thank you so much for having us again, Empowered Pinay Beyond Borders, and I hope that you enjoyed definitely our guest Glasil.
Yep. Yes. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more empowering stories from Filipinas around the world. So, and follow us on our social media. So again, thank you, Glacial, and thank you all for tuning in. And remember, always remember, life is what you make it. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.